Isel, you need to get out there, man up, say you're wrong, and offer Nina and Randa a sincere apology.
Hey guys, I'm Nina and I'm Randa, and today we're going to be talking about something that probably each and every one of you has experienced, and that is bullying.
À-bas-le-ciel.
First obvious pro being a guy in the vegan community, it's about like a 70 to 30 ratio.
It's almost guaranteed you're gonna get laid, is what you're trying to say.
Anytime someone, and I know this might upset people, if they have in their bio like ethical vegan, like they identify as that literally makes me cringe, because I'm just like, you can't just go vegan and then all of a sudden say, oh, I'm an ethical person, and everyone else isn't living this ethical lifestyle. It's just like
nobody lives a cruelty-free lifestyle, and it's a cruelty-free lifestyle, and I think it's kind of a little, it comes across as like condescending, or like that you're better than someone else. It's like, no, like, yeah, it's not approachable, and it's like, it's not, yes, it appeals to people who are vegan, but because they agree, but yeah, exactly, people who are not vegan don't like it.
À-bas-le-ciel.
And the guy who targeted us is definitely a weirdo, and we get that. So basically, he did a couple of videos saying we're ugly, we're stupid, we're never gonna make it as actresses in Hollywood.
All the time, people ask me this question. It used to be my most frequently asked question. They'd ask me, oh, well, what books do you recommend? What intellectuals do you look up to? What political leaders do you look up to in veganism? The problem with veganism being dominated by people who I find inexplicably, unforgivably idiotic, it's not limited to the bottom rung of part-time bikini models and weight loss gurus. It's really not. Wayne Seong. So Wayne Seong is the real leader of Direct Action Everywhere, even though he claims that group has no leaders. Again, when I first encountered his work, I have no negative bias. I have the most positive bias imaginable. And I have a positive bias also because at least he had, some intellectual pretensions and aspirations, and he was writing essays. He was writing essays about political philosophy. So I'm even more biased in his favor. But his work is garbage. And it's not just a little bit too dumb. To me, it's shockingly stupid. It would be hard to force myself to give a rigorous critique of any article by Wayne Seong that I've read, because it's garbage. I mean, Gary Yourofsky, if you search the history on this channel, one of my most popular videos, or maybe two of my most popular videos, were the critiques of Gary Yourofsky, because I was saying things that a lot of people needed to hear in those videos. Some people knew about the problems with Gary Yourofsky and were in denial about them, and some were totally unaware of it and were shocked. Gary Yourofsky, I don't know, I wouldn't hesitate to call him an idiot. Again, I'm biased in his favor. I recognize that in a lot of issues his heart is in the right place, that he's trying to make the world a better place. But he's not just a little bit stupid, people. He's not. Yeah, you know what? This would be a much more upbeat video if I just played a bunch of clips from that ridiculous dialogue between Vegan Cheetah and Nina and Randa sitting there being idiots, and I sat here and heaped scorn on them and say, look at these wannabe bikini models. We all get into this game, this small town mentality of pretending they're witty and charming and brilliant when they're not, pretending they're humorous and intelligent when they're not, and pretending they're beautiful when they're not. I mean, all these people are showered with compliments. Oh, you could be a model. No, you couldn't. What? Nina and Randa now have the experience of going to auditions. They've been aspiring actresses for some time. When Nina and Randa are in Los Angeles, sitting in the waiting room next to the other young women who are trying for that same part, do you think they stand out as especially good looking? No, they're not good looking. Period. They're not. We can pretend because they're vegan, and they appeared in a Taco Bell commercial, supporting the fucking meat and dairy industry and the fast food industry that we all supposedly demonize when they sold out for a few dollars to they're good looking and they're brilliant and they're leaders in the vegan movement that doesn't exist. Yeah, sure, we can play those games. And like I say, there is value in critique at every level. I think there's value in poking holes in the reputation that people like Nina and Randa have. I think there's value in poking holes in the reputation that Vegan Cheetah has. I think there would be value in poking holes in the reputation I have. if anyone wanted to deal with the substance of what's actually on my channel instead of making up stories about my sex life that are complete fiction, by the way. I don't think I've seen a single one of these rumors that has anything to do with my actual sex life. You know, yeah, this video would be more entertaining for everyone if I just came on camera and threw down, you know, invective and insults towards these idiots. But the truth is, if we're really being honest and rigorous, the people who have put themselves in positions of elite leadership roles, people like Breeze Harper, Wayne Seong, Gary Yovsky, Gary Francione, leader of the Green Party, Jill Stein. I just had a video criticizing Jill Stein. Really, we need more of our energy to go into honestly and fairly assessing what's wrong with those sources. Strategically and tactically and substantively, and then we need to put our energy into replacing them. The reality is there's going to be another Nina and Randa next week. Nobody can keep count. Just to keep count of the number of vegan girls in bikinis on YouTube, and YouTube is not the whole world, or on Instagram playing that angle. Nobody can keep count. There's another one every week. But the truth is there isn't another Gary Francione every week. There isn't another Wayne Seong every week. There isn't another DXE every week. There isn't another Humane Society, PETA, or Green Party every week. Institutions move slow. Professors with tenured positions and PhDs who can play a leadership role, or at least a galvanizing role for veganism and animal rights, they don't come around every week. And they last a long time. Gary Francione's already lasted a long time. And he's not going to retire, and he's not going to disappear.
So that was the thesis of the video.
Really, we need more of our energy to go into honestly and fairly assessing what's wrong with those sources, strategically and tactically and substantively, and then we need to put our energy into replacing them.
I don't know if you caught it, but if you did, you might be in the most intelligent 2% of people in the vegan movement, because thousands of people managed to watch the video and completely miss the point and not even pick up on who I was criticizing, let alone why.
We hadn't even heard of this guy before he posted this video. He's trying to get attention even if it's negative. If you tell a girl she's not pretty, then she's not unattractive. She's unattractive, she's not good enough to make it. It's supposed to destroy your confidence, I guess, like put you so far down that you just feel like giving up. You may be someone who's bullied a lot and you're dealing with it right now. Or you are someone who is still hurting from bullying in the past. And we are so sorry about this. But we just want to remind everyone something very important about bullies. Whatever they are saying about you is more about them and their own insecurities and their own problems. It's not about you. Nice, decent, normal people don't wake up in the morning and try to think of a way that they can hurt someone. That's what bullies do. How to deal with bullies? If you're being bullied, be open about it. Talk to your friends and family. A lot of times, just telling someone else what the bully said to you can make you feel better. But most importantly, don't let bullies have any power over you. You control who you are in life, what you do, what you accomplish, not the bully.
There is a lot of trolling on the internet. There's so much trolling that I think many of you expected me to come out with an apology video the next day after my video that mentions the name of Nina and Randa, saying, hey guys, don't take it too seriously, just joking around, I'm trolling, here's my apology. And the truth is the exact opposite. That video expresses really sincere concerns on my part. I'm sincerely concerned that a whole bunch of prominent figures in veganism as a political movement are leading the movement in a bad direction. I'm sincerely concerned not just about bikini models. I'm concerned about people who publish books, people who are university professors, people who are lawyers, people who are leaders of activist groups involved in street activism. I'm sincerely concerned that a lot of those people are idiots. And my concerns are based on the books they published, based on the articles they've written, and in many cases based on YouTube videos that are lectures or what have you. I've not received a single comment in any format or any forum defending Nina and Randa doing a paid commercial, a paid advertisement for Taco Bell, and thus endorsing fast food industry, meat and dairy industry, etc., within the United States. Not one. I haven't received one message from anyone, and this is a contrast to my experience with Freely. I haven't received one message from anyone saying, look, even though Nina and Randa are idiots, even though the Taco Bell commercial was wrong, even though these other things that you mentioned are a real problem. Still, what Nina and Randa have contributed to veganism is so important and so positive that you should see it in a balance. And that really was, with Freely, that was very often the response I got, were people who admitted that my criticism was accurate, but who said that nevertheless I should appreciate the positive things that Freely did. But I can imagine a much more powerful counter-argument to that video. And even though nobody gave me this argument, I'm now going to argue against myself so that I have someone to debate with. I think a more powerful counter-argument is this. Looks shouldn't matter, even though they do. Even though we know that physical beauty matters in this world, especially if you're presenting yourself on the internet, in a bikini, selling a diet, selling a lifestyle. In a perfect world, someone's physical appearance wouldn't matter. So let's behave ourselves on YouTube as if we're living in that perfect world. Let's respond to that higher aspiration to just address the issues or just address the political concerns and ignore who's ugly and who's beautiful. And you know what? In some contexts, we can do that. I criticized Gary Francione in that video, and I referred to earlier videos where I spoke at more length and more depth about Gary Francione. I have a new video since then talking about the nature of abolitionism in contrast to ethical veganism, talking about the ideas, political, philosophical, and otherwise, and the implications for veganism in the 21st century. I talk about all that stuff. I don't think I've ever really mentioned that Gary Francione is not very good looking. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think it'd be fair to say Gary Francione is ugly. All the time, we actually do engage with political and philosophical debates of this kind without considering what a person looks like, without their ugliness or beauty being a factor. All the time. However, Gary Francione has never made a video on YouTube comparable to the Lick My Body Challenge. The Lick My Body Challenge has more than 2 million views. If you search Nina Randa challenge, I'm sure it's the first result you're going to get. And in that video, Nina and Randa are taking off their clothes and having their boyfriends lick their body. That is who they are. That is what their fame comes from. Their beauty, their appearance, and what other vegans say about their beauty and promoting them and their career. That is important. It is significant. And what I see is people making excuses for them. Making excuses for what they say about politics, making excuses for what they say about ethical veganism, what they say about cruelty-free lifestyle, these other foolish things they say, on account of their beauty. Physical beauty, in some contexts, is irrelevant and would make your argument seem ridiculous. Criticizing Gary Francione for being ugly is not that meaningful compared to the type of criticism I already have of Gary Francione and his approach to vegan politics on this channel. But on the other hand, sometimes it's a little bit relevant, sometimes it's very relevant. I think there's an open question with a guy like Will Tuttle. I have a separate video criticizing Will Tuttle and the World Peace Diet and the semi-supernatural ideas that are in that book. I think there's an open question. Is Will Tuttle just famous because he's handsome? Why did anyone ever respect this guy or pretend to respect this guy? How did he rise to a position of apparent prominence as a leader within veganism? And I find it very troubling, because his book wouldn't be respected in a Buddhist context and shouldn't be respected in a secular context either. It's just a tremendously weak book. I think most people haven't read the book. I think they have seen his face, maybe his beauty, maybe his physical appearance, maybe how handsome. Maybe that is actually a huge factor we have to talk about, right? But definitely in the case of someone like Freely, her prominence, her role, her claim to fame, even her claim to authority, her claim to why you should take her opinion about nutrition seriously, is utterly based on her physical appearance. I've said in the past that different people can contribute in different ways. Some people are going to be bikini models. Some people are going to be health gurus. Not everyone is going to be sincerely interested and engaged with political elements of veganism. I still say that. I still believe that. Not everyone is going to care about the elements of the struggle I care about, and that's fine. I accept that. But on the other hand, I said this before on this channel, say this again, because this is as real as it gets, okay? There's a difference between becoming a stripper so that you can pay your way through college and dropping out of college in order to become a stripper. When I express concern about people who I see on the internet who just seem to me complete idiots, and to be celebrating that idiocy and I see thousands of other people celebrating that idiocy. And the excuse is that they're beautiful. And my perspective is they're not even beautiful. Yeah, I got something to say about that. And you know what? I think, their father, who's also a public figure here, Jeff Nelson, I think he should feel deeply ashamed. I think he should feel concerned. Not so much because you're looking at that video, the Lick My Body Challenge in isolation, not just because the footage of them in bikinis is being looked at there in isolation, but because it is part of a package. It is part of a parcel of celebrating a meaningless, stupid life of self-indulgence. And it's a life in which this kind of idiocy is being treated as if it's intelligent and witty and insightful and positive and good for veganism, when it's not.
Eisel, you need to get out there, man up, say you're wrong, and offer Nina and Randa a sincere apology.
I think that most people stop being idiots when they choose to stop being idiots. When they choose they're going to take themselves more seriously, and when they choose to take, social reality, real problems in this world more seriously. In the same way that most people get engaged with veganism, animal rights, and ecology, when they choose that they want to become good people.